Salus lets administrators easily create and manage user accounts for their team members. I'm logged in as a system administrator. Here in the users list, I see all of the users on my Salus instance. I can filter this list by the agency and the user group. I'm going to create a new user for a social worker who has just joined my team. We will start off by setting the user's actual name, then set a username which they will use to log in. I can choose whether to set the user's password on my own, or I can send them an email which will let them set a password themselves. If my organization operates in multiple languages, I can now set which language this user will see in the app. Next, I will choose a role. A role designates the type of user and dictates which records this user will be able to access, what information they will be able to see on the record, and what actions they can perform in the system. For this user, I will select Social Worker. We will discuss roles more in a future video. You will also see two related fields, one called User Groups and another called Agency. These two fields determine which supervisors and administrators will be able to access this social worker's case for oversight or aggregate data analysis purposes. Salus organizes users into user groups and agencies. A user's agency represents the official organization they work for. Examples here can be a government agency, a medical practice, or a nonprofit. Agencies can be configured with their own terms of use for Salus, as well as their own logos which appear on the login page and navigation menu. A user group represents a team of social services professionals who collaborate on the same cases. You can also associate a user group with one or more agencies to help keep track of all the teams using Salus. Let's look at an example. Here, we have an agency called Organization 1 with two user groups. This user's role is a social worker, which only allows a user to see their own records. Therefore, the social worker will see only the cases that they directly manage. This user's role, meanwhile, is a manager, which allows a user to see all the records in their user groups. This means I can see the records managed by all the social workers in user group 1. Meanwhile, because this manager is in both user group 1 and user group 2, they see all the cases managed by the social workers in either of those groups. This user has the role admin, which lets a user see all the records in their agency. That means they can see the cases for all the social workers in Organization 1 regardless of the user group. While a user group can represent a team within a single agency, it can also represent a cross-organizational team. This is particularly useful for coordinating work with implementing partners. While this is a fairly simple example, your organization can use a combination of agencies and user groups to create extremely nuanced access controls. In this situation, we will add the user to the user group Team 1 and the agency Social Services. The next field, Services, will determine whether this user appears as a potential referral recipient when other social workers are planning services. Next, I'll see the user's phone and email. The email address will be used for sending welcome emails, password reset links, and important notifications about the user's cases. I now fill out the user's location and specify which notifications they want to receive. Salus sends emails and push notifications for important case management milestones, such as approvals, new record assignments, and service referrals. Note that if your organization uses single sign-on providers like Google and Microsoft to sign into all your workplace tools, we can configure your Salus instance to use these services for sign-on as well.